Hey guys, it's Paul here. This week's episode of Goose Pimples is brought to you by Parabox Monthly. We've teamed up with Parabox because we really love what they do. For $19.99 a month, you'll receive your Parabox. Every box comes with a quality, soft-style t-shirt with some sort of paranormal theme. One month they did a shirt with like an awesome-looking Ouija planchette, and another month they had a Nosferatu t-shirt. It's amazing art and amazing themes. But that's just the start. Your box will also include hidden elements that if you can decode will set you off on an online scavenger hunt. This includes clues in the form of codes, riddles, letters, and images. Reach the end of the scavenger hunt and you'll be in the running to win additional free content. Listen guys, for $19.99 a month, this is a great deal for the t-shirts alone. That's a steal for a quality t-shirt these days. The scavenger hunts are like icing on top, especially if you manage to make it to the end and qualify for the additional awesome merch. Parabox Monthly. It's like an escape room you wear. If you've enjoyed Goose Pimples so far and really want to help us out, supporting our friends at Parabox is a great way to do so. It also makes an amazing gift. Do you know somebody with an October birthday? This would be a great way to surprise them. Head over to parabox.com to sign up and make sure to use the promo code Goose Pimples. That's all one word, Goose Pimples, for 10% off your first box. That's Parabox, Para-box.com. Bye. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday, and you know what that means. I have a creepy story, and this is Goose Pimples, a show where I, Paul Breeden, am joined by my wonderful cousin,
Eric Arterbridge,
to delve into the creepy and skin-crawling stories that keep us all up at night. Eric.
Paul.
Eric.
Paul.
Hey, Eric, let's talk. You want to talk? We never talk anymore. We never get to talk anymore.
I know.
We do this. We do this podcast every week. We've been doing it. This is episode 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having mediocre fun.
So we do this podcast about, ghosts and aliens and serial killers. But Eric, do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, I do, because I know a couple.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, I always enjoy ghost stories, and I always find, paranormal and supernatural things interesting. Like, I watch the shows on TV. I do a podcast about it because I think it's so invigorating.
It's exhilarating. It's titillating.
But I always, when I ask, I'd always say, like, I don't know if I believe in ghosts. I just, I don't know. I'm open to ideas. But, Eric, I think I do believe in ghosts. And you want to know why? The thing that made me realize that I think I do believe in ghosts is we just got this new dog, right?
Oh, Oliver.
And you know that where I live, Old Newcastle, these houses are ancient. I mean, some of these houses are some of the first houses that were ever built in America. Like, we're going back to the 1700s.
I don't know if they're the first houses ever built in America.
Well, I mean, if you take the number of all the houses in America, these houses are going to be, what would you say, top 10% of oldest?
Oh, yeah, they're going to be some of the oldest, but, I mean, there are houses before that just aren't there anymore.
That's why I said some of, Eric.
All right, okay. Don't forget about the Native Americans, Paul.
But, well, they didn't count.
The white man came in and decimated their civilization.
I don't think, well...
All right.
But, speaking of the Native Americans, they have given us lots of curses to do episodes on because of that.
True.
They didn't like it. Can you believe that? They weren't fans of us coming in and taking over their entire country.
I believe it.
But the point that I'm getting at is when I walk the dog at night and I go up and down some of these older streets.
Yeah.
I'm always looking in all the houses, like in the back of my mind, subconsciously thinking, am I going to see a ghost? Am I going to see a ghost walking around in there? And I think it kind of clicked for me. I was like, I do believe in ghosts, because somebody that didn't believe in ghosts wouldn't be looking in these houses hoping to see a ghost or thinking they're going to see a ghost.
So wait, I thought that this angle was going to be that your dog is like sensitive to spirits and is seeing like barking at corners, but it's just that you're walking him at night and
Yeah, and I'm peering in these houses.
Okay, that's kind of creepy on your part.
Yeah, it is, but they leave their windows open, so it's not. I can only take so much of the blame here.
Well, that's true. I do like peeking into people's houses. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, so Eric, earlier in the week, I put on our Instagram page a picture of a creepy doll, and I kind of said this is a hint for the upcoming episode.
Yeah.
I kind of shifted gears here. I was doing the research. I'll let the cat out of the bag. I was going to do an episode on the true story of Annabelle, the major motion picture Annabelle. As I got into it, I realized there's a lot more to it than I was going to have time to get ready. And I think I want to go for a bigger, broader episode, more on Ed and Lorraine Warren. So that episode is in the works. That episode will come out down the line. I think it's going to be one of our bigger episodes. I'm going to put a lot of work into it.
Oh, yeah.
So instead, I went with an episode that I've been planning on doing for a while. And I think it can maybe set up a series, something we can tap back into every once in a while. But we'll get into that, Erica. Let's get started. Sometime in the late 1940s, a man was visiting Griffith Park in Los Angeles with his two daughters.
Oh, I love Griffith Observatory.
So you've been there. You stopped by when you were living in L.A.?
Yeah, I was there. It's so beautiful there.
Okay, well, this man sat on a bench and watched his daughters enjoying their time on the merry-go-round. I told you we needed to do our talking exercises.
Yep, that's right.
This man sat on a bench and watched his daughters enjoying their time on the merry-go-round when he was struck by an idea.
Oh, not lightning?
No, not lightning. He was struck with an idea that, without a doubt, would change the world. Eric, this man, he began to dream of a place where children and adults could have equal fun.
Oh. Okay.
Together.
Okay.
A place where the parents didn't have to just sit on a bench and watch the kids have all the fun.
That's right.
After a lot of careful planning, the man successfully purchased 160 acres of orange grove and walnut trees in Anaheim, California.
Anaheim, California, that's right.
And in 1955, this man's idea turned dream would finally be realized. Eric, do you have any guesses as to who this man was?
Was it Hugh Hefner?
No. No. You were close. He created a different magical place. This man, Eric, was Walt Disney.
Oh, Walt Disney,
this idea
yes.
was Disneyland.
Yep. I've been there, too.
Have you been to Land? You've been to Land and World?
That's right.
Okay. Well, it goes without saying that this idea was a success.
Paul, do your exercise.
It goes without saying that this was a success. Disneyland is so fun and so magical that some people never want to leave, Eric.
Yeah, that was me. I did not want to leave, Paul.
Some people never want to leave, even after they die.
Yeah, that's where I want to be buried.
Eric, this episode I'm going to call The Ghosts of Disneyland.
Okay.
And it's something that I think that, like I said, we can stop back to every once in a while. And I think we could do a series of ghosts of. You know what I mean? Like
oh, sure.
Pick certain, like maybe Washington, D.C. in the future.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll,
Old Newcastle.
Yeah, well.
New York City.
Yeah. So this is the first in a line of episodes that we are calling Goose Pimples Ghosts of.
Oh, okay.
Let's get into it, Eric.
All right, let's go.
One of the most popular ghost stories at Disneyland. And this is focusing mainly, it's completely on Disneyland, not Disney World. So this is the California place.
Gotcha.
One of the most popular stories involves Walt himself.
Oh, no.
Walt Disney had a private apartment built for him and his family when they were staying at the park. Do you know where it was?
Oh, he's got money.
This apartment was located over the fire station on Main Street.
In the park, right?
In the park, yeah. Main Street of, like, Disneyland.
Gotcha.
Today, if you pass by this old station and you look up to the apartment window, you'll see that there's a light on.
Uh-oh.
Walt passed away in 1966.
Oh, wow.
After his death, the apartment was routinely cleaned despite being left vacant. And the story goes that one night, Eric, after the park had closed, a Disney employee headed up to the room to tidy up and found that whoever had done it the night before must have left the light on.
Uh-oh.
This light's like it's like a desk lamp, I think, in front of the window.
Oh, okay.
She turned the light off, finished cleaning, and moved on. When she got back down to Main Street, she looked up at the apartment and noticed that the light was on again. She swore that she had remembered to turn it off. Again, upstairs to the apartment, she turned the light off for what was sure to be the second time. Again.
Yeah.
What were we going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, when it comes to the second time, you're like, okay, I know I'm turning this light off. If it's on again, there's a problem.
Right, exactly. The second time you're doing it, you know you're doing it. Especially when you make another trip upstairs to do it.
Oh, that's right.
Again, when she got down to Main Street, the light had been relit.
Now, that's crazy.
The third time she went up to the room and shut the light off, she didn't have to wait to get back down to Main Street. The light immediately turned itself back on.
Oh, hell no.
The woman claims that after the light came on, she heard a faint whisper that swept through the air. "I'm still here, love." No one has ever tried to turn the light off again after that night. It remains on in a tribute to the great Walt Disney at all times.
Oh, wow.
Cast members have said that at night you can hear strange knocking and shuffling coming from the firehouse apartment. What do you think of that? Is that... Well, here's the thing. If I had built, during my life, a land of my own, like this magical kingdom from my imagination, I think after I died, that's probably where I would want to hang out.
Yeah, me too.
Like, that's the place to haunt, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Eric, what's your favorite ride at Disneyland?
Oh, I don't like rides.
What's your
No,
favorite?
I don't like rides.
You don't do rides?
I don't like rides.
All right, well.
No, I'm just kidding. I do like some rides. I don't like heights is what it really is, but if I'm strapped in real tight, then it's all right.
Well, how do you feel about Space Mountain?
I like Space Mountain. Yeah, that's fun.
Space Mountain. Is it actually the oldest ride in the park, or is that something that Ric Flair just made up?
I'm not a Disneyland historian, but that's the one that's in the dark, right?
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that's fun.
All right, Eric. Well, next time you go to Disneyland, if you decide to ride Space Mountain, make sure you're on the lookout for Mr. One Way.
Oh no, I don't even like the sound of him.
Mr. One Way is described as a red-faced man with red hair.
No, I don't like that.
I've also heard that at times he's been rumored to appear as a young child as well. And they say that when he appears as the young child, he will actually make conversation with some of the guests. So Mr. One Way typically will stand in line for the ride. And at the end of the line, he will always get on next to a single rider. So if you've only been to Disney World, Space Mountain is it's one person per seat. It's like I think 4 people, but they're all in a straight line on the ride. Wow. In Disneyland, it's 2 seats next to each other. It's the same deal, but it's wider, so it's 2 seats next to each other. So in Disney World, you don't sit next to anybody. In Disneyland, 2 people sit next to each other. So Mr. One Way will always get on next to a single rider.
Uh-oh.
Right?
Yeah.
He will always disappear before the ride comes back.
No.
Yeah. There's actually footage. There's video of Mr. One Way apparently getting onto a ride. Now, in this video, it's not he hasn't stood in line, and it's not like a red-faced man and red hair, but you can see there is
what?
You can see there's like a ghost figure. It's caught on security camera, and you can see this ghost comes from the left and gets on the ride with a single rider.
All right, roll the clip.
I don't have it because it's not. There's no audio. It's not gonna play well for the podcast.
Well, I at least want to see it so I can comment on it.
All right. Well, I have the video. I'll show you at the end. I'll send you a link to the video. I'm gonna put a link to this video. I have a video with multiple ghosts that were captured at Disneyland, and I'm gonna put a link in the in the page on the website. So if you go to www.goosepimple.podcast.com, you'll be able to click the link and check it out.
Okay, great.
There's another ghost at Space Mountain, Eric.
Another one in the same mountain?
Yeah. This one doesn't ride the ride, though. This one lives in the ride. Space Mountain is believed to also be home to a spirit of a cast member referred to as Disco Debbie.
Uh-oh.
She appears as a glowing green orb, and she can be seen in the darkness during the ride. It's believed that she is the spirit of a cast member that died of a brain aneurysm behind the building.
Oh, no.
Creepy, right?
Yeah, don't a lot of people die on these rides, too, anyway?
Well, you know what? We're going to get to that.
Oh.
But before we get to that, Eric, have you ever ridden the Matterhorn?
The Matterhorn? I don't know. Have I?
The Matterhorn is a ride that is only at Disneyland. They don't have one in Disney World. The Matterhorn it's a real mountain, and the ride is shaped like the mountain, and you kind of ride a bobsled through it.
Oh, okay.
It's like a cross between a roller coaster and one of those rides where you're just kind of hanging with your feet dangling.
Oh.
Anyway,
I don't know if I would like that one.
Anyway,
I might have avoided it.
So I'm assuming then you've never heard of Dolly's Dip.
Are you talking about Dolly Parton?
No, that's a different dip.
Oh, okay.
All right, Eric. So the Matterhorn ride in Disneyland has 2 consecutive bobsleds that run at the same time. There's they're referred to as the Tomorrowland sled and the Fantasyland sled because I guess their starting points are one's closer to Tomorrowland, one's closer to Fantasyland.
Oh, okay.
At one point in the ride, the Tomorrowland sled goes down a slight dip in order to allow the Fantasyland sled enough clearance to pass overhead.
Oh, okay.
You follow me so far?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So in 1984, a 48...
Oh, that's the year I was born.
A 48-year-old... yeah, and it's cursed. A 48-year-old woman named Dolly Young was riding the Matterhorn alone in the back seat of a sled. A young child was riding alone in the front seat of this sled.
Oh, that was the one from the other ride.
Maybe. At one point during the ride, it's believed that Dolly unfastened her safety belt in order to lean forward and assist the young child.
Why?
While trying to help, the Matterhorn sled passed over the dip. Being that she wasn't completely seated, when the Fantasyland sled passed over,
No.
Dolly was struck on the head and knocked from her ride.
Oh, no.
The next sled came shortly thereafter and ran over Dolly's body.
Oh, no.
The ride's track had to be completely dismantled to remove poor Dolly's body. The dip has ever since been referred to as Dolly's Dip, and it's now said that Dolly haunts the Matterhorn ride.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so this isn't that long. I mean, this is 1984.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you're right. That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was that long ago, huh? You're getting pretty old.
Stop it. Well, you're a year younger than me.
All right.
Not even a full year.
All right, easy there. Every night after the park closes, it's routine that 2 cast members have to walk the Matterhorn track, one on either side, looking for lost items and debris. Cast members commonly report that it feels like they're being watched when they do this, and some have even believed that guests had been hiding in the ride during the after hours.
It's just Dolly Parton.
This feeling is said to always be most intense inside the big cavern where Dolly was killed, and it's reported that the work lights nearest Dolly's Dip burn out at an alarming rate, much faster than anywhere else.
Oh, my.
So that's the story of Dolly, and that's Dolly's Dip. Makes you want to ride the Matterhorn, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, but I'm not going to take my seatbelt off and stand up.
No, that's foolish.
Yeah, let's learn from Dolly's mistakes.
Yeah, you should always follow the safety instructions when you're on amusement park rides.
Well, you know what I think it was? I think the little boy from Space Mountain was lonely and wanted a mom ghost with him.
Wow. And you think that she lured her into killing herself so that she could join him?
That's right.
In his everlasting Disneyland vacation?
That's right.
Well, Eric, I'll tell you what, that little boy, let's see, when You're talking about the boy from Space Mountain, correct?
What? I'm saying it's the same boy.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have plenty of friends by the end of this episode.
Oh, my God.
Eric, let's talk about the Carousel of Progress for a moment.
Okay.
So, Eric, the Carousel of Progress is this big, round, rotating building in Tomorrowland. The one in Anaheim at Disneyland is no longer called the Carousel of Progress. I believe the one in Disney World still is. If you still want to see what the Carousel of Progress is, you can go there and check it out. It's like like I said, it's a big, round, rotating building that it showcases predictions of like future products.
What?
Like you've probably ridden it. You get in. Let me explain it. You get in and you sit down, and it's almost like a theater. I think there's like 6 or 8 rows of seats.
Oh, okay.
And there's a stage in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
And the stage has a bunch of animatronic people that, I think the Carousel of Progress starts in like the 1930s or 1940s. And then they'll do a little speech about all the technology of the day. And then the stage stays stationary, but your seats rotate around to the next portion of the stage where now you're in the 50s or the 60s, and they're talking about the products of that day. And eventually at the end you're in the future, and they're talking about all the stuff to come.
I see.
You've never ridden this?
No, it doesn't sound familiar, but I also have a really bad memory, so who knows.
So the main thing that I'm getting at is there's a stationary stage, and then the entire building actually rotates around that stage.
Oh, wow.
Although the Carousel of Progress is still running in Florida, in Disneyland, the version was shut down in the early 70s and reopened as America Sings, which is essentially the same premise as the showcase, or the Carousel of Progress, but America Sings showcases musical history of the first 200 years of America.
Oh, okay.
So,
and then it shows you songs of the future?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's impressive how they do that.
Yeah.
They have to keep changing it every time Carly Rae Jepsen comes out with a new song.
That's right.
2 weeks after the new attraction opened, a new ride operator, 18-year-old Deborah Stone, was killed. She was crushed between the wall of the moving audience section and the stationary stage.
Oh, no.
Since that day, cast members working the ride have reported a small, wispy voice instructing them to be careful.
Ew.
This same building is also said to be haunted by the ghost of a boy who died trying to jump from one car to the next on the People Mover.
Oh, no.
He came up short and was dragged along the track before the ride came to a stop.
Oh, that's horrible.
While he spends most of his time haunting the America Sings building, he has actually been reported to make his way all around Tomorrowland. It's even thought that he really seems to prefer blondes because...
blondes have more fun.
And it's rumored that he has a knack for tugging their hair. So a lot of blonde-haired women, like I guess a bunch of attractive blonde-haired women, have reported having their hair pulled.
Oh, interesting.
But it's believed that it's this boy.
Oh, my God.
How about It's a Small World, Eric? Did you write It's a Small World? You ever read that? It's a Small World. It's a Small World's funny because...
Just kidding.
It's a ride that can give you goose pimples without there being any backstory to it. It's just such a creepy... Have you ridden it?
Yeah, I have.
It's a nightmare, right?
I think it's cute.
Okay. Well, the story is that several cast members who worked on It's a Small World loved the ride so much that they came back and resided there after they died. I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I get sick of that song after riding through the ride, I don't know, for 30 seconds. Can you imagine if you worked there and had to listen to it all night, every night, and then wanted to come back when you died?
No, I wouldn't mind that because there's something wrong with me where I can listen to the same song over and over and over again and never get tired of it. Same thing with eating Taco Bell and Chipotle.
Well, I think everybody has a little of that in them. But
that's right.
But hold on, though. Is it any song? It has to be a song you like, right?
No, not necessarily. I will learn to love it if I hear it enough times.
How do you feel about the It's a Small World song?
I like it.
Okay. All right. Well, the legend is that the lights will turn on and off, and that the dolls will keep on dancing and singing after hours when the electricity has been shut down.
Oh, that's freaky.
Yeah, that is freaky. Let's talk about, Eric, the only place in Disney World where there should be ghosts.
Where? Pirates of the Caribbean?
No, let's talk about Walt Disney's Haunted Mansion.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Construction on the Haunted Mansion began in 1963, and the story goes that one of the first test guests was so scared that she died of a heart attack inside the mansion.
Oh, that's
her death.
Is that real? Is that a wives' tale?
It's said that her death, legend has it, led to the closing of construction until 1969. So the story is that the original draft of the Haunted Mansion was actually so scary that they had to tone it down a little bit because it was killing people.
Oh, okay.
But that also seems like something that, Disney PR might put out there just to, impress people with how scary their mansion was.
Yeah, I think it's baloney.
Yeah,
but
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Yeah.
There are several ghosts that haunt the mansion, though, Eric.
Oh.
The first ghost,
Where'd they come from?
The first ghost story happened when the mansion was still being built in the 1960s. One of the sound designers was in the seance room and heard music coming from behind a wall. He thought it was a radio.
Yeah.
But there was never any talking or any commercials. It was just music all the time.
It's a small world again and again.
Yeah. He kept hearing the music for days.
Uh-oh.
Finally, he decided to put a speaker on the spot where the music was coming from to mask it. So that was their fix. So, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Maybe there's a weird spot in the mansion where music plays all the time?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just being covered up by a speaker? What would the speaker be playing? I guess just like weird, creepy noises.
I guess so.
Or maybe it just amplifies the music that was already there.
Yeah, maybe. I have no idea. We're going to have to go there and check it out. Paul, can we get a company card for Goose Pimples podcast and go?
We should try. Yeah. Well, I want to drive down Route 66. So maybe we can make a trip down Route 66.
Oh,
all the way into California. Go to Disneyland.
It's not that exciting.
Well, I know, but I think it'd still be fun.
Okay, yeah, because you know what? I don't like flying either, so we can drive out there. That's fine with me.
All right, it's a deal. Let's do it. Once we hit it big, we'll do it.
Yes.
You made me lose my spot, Eric.
You and your spots.
All right, there's also a story about a woman who came to the Haunted Mansion to sprinkle her young son's ashes in the ride since it was his dying wish.
Oh,
actually, his exact dying wish was to become one of the Haunted Mansion's ghosts. So she thought,
that makes more sense.
She thought this would be a good way to do it. She was told she couldn't spread the ashes there. But
that makes sense too.
Yeah, but apparently she snuck back and scattered her son's ashes anyway.
And that's to be expected.
After that, people reported seeing the ghost of a small boy crying near the exit.
Well, his mom really screwed him for eternity.
Maybe he was the ghost that was sitting in front of Dolly on the Matterhorn.
Could be.
Rumor is that Disneyland is such a popular destination for people who want their ashy remains scattered that the cast members actually have a protocol to deal with the situation.
Oh.
Think about that.
That's nasty. Yeah, that's nasty.
Right.
I guess I should get my ashes spread at Disneyland. I never really considered it before.
You should. The easiest way would probably be to get like a rental plane and just fly over.
All right, Paul. Well, my dying wish is that you spread my ashes all over Disneyland.
All right. Your mom's not going to be happy about it when I kidnap your dead body and burn it up.
I don't know how much she'll care.
Okay. Eric, how about the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? You talked about it already. Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? What do you think?
I say Caribbean. That's just how I was raised. I was raised right. But when I went to Disney World in Florida, it was closed down for renovations because it was shortly after the movie came out, and they were, I guess, renovating it to make it look like...
They were trying to make all the pirates look like Johnny Depp.
Right, exactly.
Well,
and then I might have gone on it when I think I went on it in Disneyland several years later, but again, I just don't remember.
I enjoy it. It's nice because it seems like one of those rides where you're just like calmly moving through the water and taking in all the scenes. And then at one point, there's just like this big, huge drop. It's cool. It takes you by surprise. You're not ready for it.
I don't remember that. Maybe I didn't. I vaguely remember like pirates singing, and I think I was in there, but
That's
I don't know.
Pretty much the whole ride.
I think I was in there. I don't remember a drop though.
Okay. Well, here's a fun fact.
Okay.
When the Pirates of the Caribbean ride opened, 3 of the skeletons used were real skeletons. Walt felt that the fakes at the time were too hokey and wouldn't fool anyone. The 3 skeletons were donated by the UCLA Medical Center.
That's crazy.
When technology finally caught up to Disney's expectations, the real skeletons were replaced with prosthetics. Although one real skull still remains on the ride. This skull is located on the headboard in the captain's quarters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It has also been said that Walt Disney's ghost and a couple of other ghosts sometimes haunt the Disney Gallery, which is located above the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. The gallery was originally designed to be Walt's personal apartment, as the one over the Main Street fire station was getting kind of small. So this one, I guess it wasn't finished in time before he passed away.
Oh, no.
Eric, there's a lady in white who haunts the park as well. The lady in white is a ghost dressed in a 19th century gown that has been spotted on Main Street after dark. Legend has it that she guides the lost children to the Disneyland Baby Care Center where they can be reunited with their parents. That's sweet, right?
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, hold on. Yeah, that's nice because, never mind, just skip me. I can't articulate this thought that I have.
All right, well, let's talk about the brothers in the river. How about that?
Oh, okay.
In June of 1973, 2 brothers stayed on Tom Sawyer's Island after the park closed.
Uh-oh.
They tried to escape by swimming across the rivers of America. The oldest brother drowned.
No.
Cast members have seen his ghost rippling through the water ever since.
That's a terrible existence.
Just rippling through the water?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not great. All right, this is the last story here, and this one kind of has the most legs. I was able to really dig deep into this one.
Oh.
Let's talk about the Monorail Runner, Eric, for a minute.
What's that?
In 1966, a 19-year-old man tried to break into Disneyland by climbing a 20-foot fence and crossing over the monorail tracks.
No, that does not sound like a good idea.
Well, you know what? Let's see. I have here a news article from the Press Telegram of Long Beach, California, from, what's the date here? June 18th, 1966.
Oh, Long Beach. That's where my dog is from, Thurston. He's a beach bum.
Really?
Yeah, I got him at the SPCA Long Beach.
He must hate New York.
No, he likes it.
Okay, well, according to this news article, quote, the Disneyland monorail train Friday night slammed into and killed a 19-year-old youth who had climbed 20 feet into a trestle in an apparent effort to try to gain free entrance into the Anaheim amusement park. Thomas Guy Cleveland of Northridge was crushed between the train and a protective plastic canopy which extends on either side of the monorail trestle beneath the track. Investigating officers said that the boy had scaled 2 chain-link fences, one 6-foot high and one 16-foot high, to gain access to the track at a point where it crosses the employee parking lot.
Oh, no.
Disneyland spokesperson said that the accident occurred at 9:25 p.m. when the monorail was grinding toward Tomorrowland at 25 miles per hour. The operator of the monorail, Dallas Parker, told police he didn't see the youth on the track before the accident and was unaware of anything unusual until he felt a bump and then the train stopped because of loss of power. 3 security officers, Theodore John Thomas, Paul L. Williams, and Earl Bruce Noren, saw the youth on the trestle just before he was struck, Anaheim police said. Williams shouted a warning to the youth. Get down! And he appeared to crouch down on the canopy, police said. He said then they watched in horror as the 4-car train struck the youth and dragged him under the carriage. Police said that all 4 cars passed over the victim. Investigators say that the boy's body was badly mutilated in the mishap.
Oh, that's sad.
It is said that the ghost of, what was his name? Thomas Guy Cleveland, the teenager who'd been struck, can still be seen at night running alongside the monorail train.
Oh, that's creepy.
So that's one that, you know, that's the guy. He actually did die there. That's not just some legend. So if there's going to be one that you believe, maybe that's the most believable.
I believe it. And he was from Northridge. I worked in Northridge at Forever 21 for about 2 months.
How'd that go?
Terrible.
Okay.
Yep.
Eric, I did some more research, and I actually came up with a list of all the guests who have actually been killed at Disneyland since its opening.
Oh, wow. How long is that list?
9 people. 9 people have been killed in Disney since it's opened. 9 guests. So I figure we can go through this list and maybe place some names with some ghost stories, see if we can work it all out.
Okay.
So this information is all provided by Snopes. And let's start with the earliest death. In 1964, Mark Maples, a 15-year-old Long Beach, California resident, was killed when he tried to stand up at the Matterhorn bobsled. Maples foolishly unbuckled his seatbelt and attempted to stand up as their bobsled neared the peak of the mountain. Maples lost his balance and was thrown from the sled onto the track, fracturing his skull and his ribs, causing internal injuries. He died 3 days later. So that's Mark Maples. Who knows? Maybe he's in there haunting the Matterhorn with Dolly, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's double trouble.
Yeah, could be.
Right. In 1966, we had Thomas Guy Cleveland. We just kind of got into his deal, so I'm not going to do it again. That's the Monorail Runner.
That's right.
1967, Ricky Lee Yama, a 17-year-old Hawthorne, California resident, was killed when he disregarded safety instructions and exited the People Mover car as it was passing through a tunnel. Yama slipped as he was jumping from the car and was crushed to death beneath the wheels of the oncoming car. So this, Ricky Yama, I'm assuming, is the boy that they said haunts the America Sings attraction.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Ricky Lee Yama, must be the one that has the thing for blonde-haired girls.
I could see that, yeah.
Let's move on, Eric. Let's move on to June 1973.
Okay.
Bogdan Delarat, an 18-year-old Brooklyn resident, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if you can figure out which ghost this is. Drowned while trying to swim across the rivers of America.
Oh, no.
Delarat and his 10-year-old brother managed to stay on Tom Sawyer's Island past its dusk closing time by climbing a fence that separated the island from the burning settlers' cabin. When they decided to leave the island a few hours later, they chose to swim across the river rather than call attention to their rule-breaking by appealing to the cast members for help. Because the younger brother did not know how to swim, Delarat tried to carry him on his back as he swam to shore. Bogdan Delarat went down about halfway across the river. The younger boy remained afloat by dog paddling until the ride operator hauled him aboard the next boat. But Bogdan was nowhere to be found. His body was not located by researchers until the next morning.
Oh, no.
By searchers, not researchers.
Yeah, I wondered about that. It's like, oh, okay. You got researchers in there. Yeah, I bet that's the one who's waiting in that river for eternity.
Yeah, poor guy.
Oh,
Poor guy.
That's just not right.
Eric, in 1980,
Uh-huh.
Gerardo Gonzalez, a recent San Diego high school graduate, was killed on the People Mover in an accident much like that of the previously befallen Ricky Lee Yama 13 years earlier. Gonzalez, in the early morning hours of a grad night celebration, was climbing from people car to people car as the People Mover entered the super speed tunnel adjacent to the former America Sings building. Gonzalez stumbled and fell onto the track, where the oncoming train of cars crushed him beneath its wheels and dragged his body a few hundred feet before the ride operator stopped the ride. So maybe Gerardo Gonzalez is the blonde-haired grabber.
He could be. I don't understand why people keep jumping up and over all these rides. Why don't they just sit still and fastened in?
I don't know. They're crazy. Well, the People Mover is like really, really slow. So they probably, want to goof off to all their friends and look like the cool guy on grad night. And they think, I can move. I can do this.
No, I just like to stay alive. I like to sit down, buckled in, strapped in.
You know what they should do?
What?
They should, and this may take away some of the magic of Disney, but they should put pictures of Gerardo Gonzalez and Ricky Luyama, like before and after pictures at the entrance, and then just put, please remain seated at all times.
No.
Do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, I think it might inspire people to behave.
That's how they got us.
It also might traumatize people.
That's how they got us to drive safely when I was in high school. Do you remember that?
That is true, though.
I don't know. Maybe we should tell people, because I don't know if this is everywhere or this is just something that happened locally here in Delaware. But when you were in driver's ed, you had to watch this video. The police actually came in. The police put the video together. And the video was just a bunch of pictures of dead bodies and carnage from accidents that happened locally. It was all local accidents. And they say, this one happened, right down the street at the red light here. This guy, we had to pry him out with the jaws of life, and here's his arm here, and there's his head down there. And they would show this to high school kids.
I vaguely remember that. But Paul, do you remember that car that blew up at the red light down the street?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if that well, he got sideswiped and then exploded.
I don't know what happened. I just remember I was at your grandmother's house with either you or Mike, I don't remember who, and heard the explosion.
Yeah. I remember that.
It was crazy.
That was crazy. But getting back to that video that they showed us, do you remember the girl? So, as we said, Eric's a year older than me. We were in high school at the same time. There was a girl who I believe was in your class that died in a car accident. She had just gotten her license and passed away. Or maybe she was a year above you.
Yeah, she was older than me. She was in the marching band with me.
She passed away. She was, I think she got hit by a drunk driver. I don't think she was drinking, right?
I don't know that anybody was drinking. She definitely wasn't. She, I think, was on her way home from school, and I think somebody just ran a red light.
Well, the police decided it'd be a good idea to include pictures from her accident into this video that they show the students. So classes below her saw pictures from her accident, and they knew her. It was people that knew the girl and had to sit through this stupid... I don't think this video was a good idea.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't really remember this, but I think maybe I blocked it out. Who knows?
Maybe. They had us all come to like they showed it in the auditorium. They would have police come in and show the video, and it was supposed to scare you straight and make sure you drove very carefully. Hey, I do drive very carefully, and I am horrified to ever get in an accident, so maybe it worked.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's talk about June 4th, 1983, Eric. Let's talk about Philip Strogan, an 18-year-old Albuquerque, New Mexico resident who also drowned in the rivers of America in yet another graduation night accident.
What?
Strogan and a friend, celebrating both their graduations and Strogan's 18th birthday, had been drinking quite heavily that evening and snuck into a cast members only area along the river and untied an inflatable rubber maintenance motorboat, deciding to take it for a joyride around the river. Unable to adequately control the boat, they struck a rock near Tom Sawyer Island, and Strogan was thrown into the water. His friend traveled back to shore to seek help, and struck and drowned long before his body was finally located hours later.
Oh, no. But wait, so what is this river? It's not a real river, right?
No, the Rivers of America, it's I'm assuming it's a man-made river that surrounds Tom Sawyer's Island at Disneyland.
Right, but how big could it be?
Well, let's see.
Yeah, I hear you typing the river into the search result into the Google search bar now.
It's not huge. It's not small either, though. Like, it's quite a swim. I'd say it's maybe... it's hard to say. I'm looking at pictures here, but based on these pictures, maybe the length of, like, 2 full-size swimming pools.
Oh.
So it's... If you're not a great swimmer, or if you're drunk, I could see it being quite a swim.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, maybe it's Philip Strogan who is the ghost rippling through the water.
It could be.
January 3rd, 1984, there was Dolly Renee Young, who we talked about earlier. She was the one that was killed on the Matterhorn, and she is the one that Dolly's Dip is named after.
Yeah, God rest her soul.
Then we had, in 1998, December of 1998, in a tragic Christmas Eve accident, 1 Disneyland cast member and 2 guests were injured, 1 fatally, when a rope used to secure the sailing ship Columbia as it docked the Rivers of America tore loose from the metal cleat to which it was attached. The cleat sailed through the air and struck the heads of 2 guests who were waiting aboard the ship. Luan Dawson, 33, of Duval, Washington, and his wife, Liu Vogue, 43. So I'm not doing them justice, but the name's not easy to pronounce.
I see.
Dawson was declared brain dead 2 days later and died when his life support system was discontinued. This accident resulted in the first guest death in Disneyland's history that was not attributed to any negligence on the part of the guest.
Oh.
And then finally, the 9th person to die at Disneyland. It happened on September 2003. A 22-year-old man, Marcelo Torres of Gardenia, California, died, and several other guests were injured when a locomotive separated from its train along the tunnel section of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Uh-oh.
Torres bled to death after suffering blunt force trauma to the chest.
That's horrible.
It is horrible, Eric. It's very horrible.
And now they're all stuck there for eternity, just having fun.
Yeah, it's not the worst way to go, I guess.
I guess not.
Here's something a little less spooky, Eric. I want to end it on kind of a good note. Sometimes you can get goose pimples from, like, good stories. Like a really feel-good story will give you goose pimples.
Yeah, it feels good.
All right, well, here's one for you. Shortly after Disneyland was opened, Walt Disney returned to Griffith Park. You know what he did there?
Oh. What?
He purchased the bench he was sitting on when he first sparked that glimmer of an idea that would eventually become the most magical place on Earth. That bench is now located at the Opera House on Main Street. And some say Walt still takes a moment to sit there to this day.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so that the actual bench that Walt was sitting on when he thought of Disneyland is in Disneyland.
Oh, that's so great.
Yes, it is, Eric.
And he still sits there today. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes, it is. Okay, so Eric, what do you think? What do you think about the Ghosts of Disney?
I can't wait to join them when you spread my ashes all over.
I can't wait to spread them. Your mom's going to be so happy.
Yeah, but yeah, I think once we get that company card, we can head out there and do some paranormal investigation.
Yeah, I think so too. And if you guys want us to get that company card so we can go on free vacations, one thing you could do is check out Parabox Monthly. Make sure to go to parabox.com for your monthly paranormal mystery adventure. That's PARA-BOX.com. You can use promo code Goose Pimples for 10% off your first box. There's no contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Guys, if the Ghosts of Disneyland gave you Goose Pimples, do us a favor, just tell a friend. And if you could, It really helps us. Go on iTunes, rate, review. That's huge for us.
Huge.
Again, we'd like to share your stories on Goose Pimples. And also, if you have any topic ideas, feel free to suggest them. You can email us at goosepimple.podcast.com. Nope. You can go to our website at goosepimple.podcast.com or email us at goosepimplespodcast@gmail.com. Or you can share with us on Twitter if you want. Just use the hashtag Pimplecast. We'll see it. Eric?
Paul?
See you next Monday.
Okay, I'll see you next Monday. Until then, take care.
Bye.
Yeah, it feels good.